Live from clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, and WKMG. We're getting results in your neighborhood now at 6:30 p.m.
We start at 6:30 with some breaking news out of Clermont, where parts of an apartment complex had to be evacuated after police say shots were fired at officers.
Clermont police say this happened after responding to a woman with a gunshot wound. Police clarify they were originally called out to the Cottonwood Apartments on Hook Street to respond to reports of a woman screaming and running from a man. While doing a well-being check at the apartments, officers found a woman with a gunshot wound and were then met with gunfire from inside the home.
So we sent Sky 6 out to get a look at the situation. You can see a lot of law enforcement there on the scene. This was about 10 minutes ago. The Clermont Police Department believes the woman has died from her injuries. We're also being told no one's been taken into custody just yet. Officers, as you can see, have stormed the area. Units closest to the scene have been evacuated as well. Everyone else is being asked to either shelter in place or avoid the area altogether. We have News 6's Mike Valenti in that area to get some more information for those of you who have been impacted by this and to bring us some more information. Updates will come in on air and online at clickorlando.com. It's never been easier for people who want to bet on sports.
Gives you a little extra to cheer on the team. It's better when you win.
But when some don't and aren't responsible, it can be a slippery slope.
Gambling addiction, it's a hidden addiction.
Do you feel like it's talked about enough?
Definitely not.
There's one center in Florida for those who need help.
We operate, like I said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
And it has struggles of its own.
We also, unfortunately, we don't have adequate funding.
Do you have the staff for this?
We definitely do not.
It has been a little more than a year now since online gambling has been available to Floridians, but it has not been a win-win for everyone.
Yesterday, we showed you how gambling culture has exploded nationwide since 2018 and here in the Sunshine State over the last year since the Hard Rock Bet app went live for anyone to download over the age of 21. As more people sign up to bet, there's also been an increase in the people developing problems.
Yeah, and those who need help have one place to call 24/7. So, Justin, you found out the center has struggles of its own.
Yeah, Ginger, this is a big problem, and it's a problem really not a lot of people are talking about. The Florida Council on Compulsive Gambling, that is the state's only hotline, has just 7 people on the staff. 7. They also no longer get a dime from the state. They haven't since July, and that's despite legalized sports betting generating millions of dollars in tax revenue for the state. And if those issues aren't enough, their headquarters in downtown Sanford has been out of commission for years.
When people reach out for help to our helpline for this issue, they're usually at rock bottom.
Jennifer Cruz is the executive director of the Florida Council on Compulsive Gambling. Since taking that role more than 2 decades ago, she has never had more people needing help than right now. Calls have almost doubled from 2023 to 2024, with 2 big differences between the 2 years.
All right, boys, who we betting on?
The rollout of the Hard Rock sports betting app.
Especially with online gambling, you're not seeing the money leave your hand, right? Like, you're not seeing it quantifiably leave. So it's easier for it to get out of hand.
And fewer resources to provide help to the growing number of people who need it.
Our state contract was not renewed by the Florida Gaming Control Commission. So while we've had this huge increase in contacts to the helpline and, expansion of gambling in the state of Florida, there have not been equitable resources allocated for this issue.
For the last 20 years, the Florida Gaming Control Commission has provided state funding to the Florida Council on Compulsive Gambling, but those dollars stopped in July of 2024. In a statement to News 6, the commission told us in part, quote, "At the end of the latest term of its contract with the commission, the council declined the commission's offer to renew the contract."
Currently, we are funded solely by the Seminole tribe of Florida. So without the Seminoles, there would be no resource for help for people with a gambling problem in the state of Florida.
Cruz says this is why the state funding stopped. Binders as tall as some of the center staff here, filled with information the commission wanted monthly from the council. It took more than 100 hours every month to prepare each report, and eventually the council told the commission they just don't have the resources to do it anymore. Meanwhile, the phone keeps ringing. Do you have the staff for this?
We definitely do not. We don't. We operate, like I said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, currently with 7 staff members.
7.
7.
What do you need?
Probably at least 30 at this point.
Those 7 staff members, including Cruz, are responsible for answering more than 170 calls, texts, and live chats
through their website every single day, a specialized job that requires months of training.
You never know what's at the other end of that line, and no call or text or chat is ever really the same. So you have to have somebody that's, got the experience and the knowledge and understands this issue, understands the addiction, and, is compassionate and is also able to provide appropriate resources.
What's worse, their downtown Sanford headquarters suffered significant damage from Hurricane Ian, forcing most of the 7 employees to work remotely.
We're talking Hurricane Ian here.
Yep.
2022.
2022. So the damages originally started upstairs, and it took so long with insurance. As you know, there was a lot of insurance claims then, that by the time they came out and started doing their assessments, mold had developed.
Construction on the building is mostly done, but the work to reorganize the roughly 630,000 helpline items continues to take up a lot of their time they just don't have.
We're taking them now out of the Surfro boxes, and we're having to recount everything, and we're putting them in plastic containers, which is just, it's very time-consuming task when you're counting pens and brochures, and yeah.
How has this impacted what you are truly in the business in?
Hugely, because, we need access to the stuff.
All of this on top of more callers than ever and their smallest staff yet.
I cannot get over the fact that you had more staff before sports betting became legalized. Do you ever think about that? And
Yeah.
It's, to me, I'm baffled.
Yeah, it definitely should be the other way around.
You think?
Unfortunately, circumstances haven't allowed for that.
Just eye-opening. Here's the thing. You would think that this would be raising some red flags in Tallahassee, but based on the feedback that we've been receiving, or maybe the lack thereof, it's clearly not on their radar. Our emails to lawmakers who have actually taken up gambling-related legislation in the past have either been ignored or we've been declined an interview request. As for the Florida Gaming Control Commission, they told us that right after the contract with the Council on Compulsive Gambling expired, they started seeking a new partner. They told us that that process is ongoing. We also have reached out to the governor's office, and they may be unaware of what's happening, perhaps. I'm not quite sure, but they did not get back with us either. I'm hoping by airing this and getting this out there that we do start to hear from people in the space that can put some teeth into this and maybe some guardrails.
Well, they can't plead ignorance anymore because
spirals.
It's out there. And the numbers are so staggering when you talk about the number of calls that have doubled in just a year. And that's just a year. If you hadn't put this to the forefront and gotten the attention of so many people now, making us all aware, because I had no idea.
Right.
I figured something had to be afoot because I see the ads everywhere.
The ads are difficult to avoid, and we talked about that during yesterday's story, where it is an aggressive marketing campaign and also a marketing campaign that's not genuine because it shows everyone winning and how easy it is to win. Here's the thing, betting on sports couldn't be harder to make money off of. It's something that a lot of people do just for fun, and we know the recreational part. I do it, a lot of people do it, my friends do it. The thing is, for those who become addicted to it and chase those losses, and then next thing you know, they're in financial ruin, and if they have no place to turn, other than this hotline, then where are they going to turn?
7 people.
Where are they? They'll help you.
Yeah.
But if that place doesn't exist, where's that help coming
go?
from?
I don't know.
That's what's so scary.
It's really eye-opening. I'm glad you brought it to a lot of people's attention because it's something that really needs to be on the radar.
No doubt. And again, we do want to stress, if you or someone you know is struggling with a gambling addiction, the Florida Council on Compulsive Gambling, they are here to help you out. So call that number, 888-ADMIT-IT. That is 888-236-4848. All right, let's turn now to your weather. Another gorgeous day outside. I can't get enough of this.
It started a little foggy this morning, but it wasn't as bad as past couple of mornings.
Right.
And then by this afternoon, meteorologist Jonathan Gegas joins us now. And you say we're right into May temperatures already.
We are, yeah. I mean, is it bad if I say it's a little too hot outside?
You know.
We just kind of skipped right over like the super comfortable temperatures, like in the low to mid 70s where it's supposed to be.
Yep.
We jumped right into late spring, almost early summer. Right now, it's still 79 in Oviedo. That's above our average highs. And now we're talking about it being close to 7 o'clock in the evening. 74 at the Cape. Good evening in Leesburg. We're at 77, right around 77 in Bushnell as well. Palm Bay, good evening. We're checking in at 76 degrees. Few clouds pushing through. We have the fog right now, really, really localized right up and down the I-95 corridor, and most of that is right along the Atlantic coast right now. We will gradually see that try to push south towards the Space Coast and then inland. I do think we are going to see fog again tomorrow morning, but it will be a little more localized. We'll show you who has the best chance coming up in a few minutes. As for this evening, if you're out, watch out for patchy fog close to the coast tonight. 77 by 9. Most of us will see just a few passing clouds, especially inland. We're at 72 by 11. Gorgeous overnight. Very warm, a little muggy, relatively speaking. Right around 70 degrees by 1 o'clock. Another very warm day tomorrow, a warm 70 forecast. We're breaking down how many 80s are to come, guys, at about 6:47.
Thank you, Jonathan. Well, tonight the community is mourning the loss of a pastor's wife who was badly beaten during a home invasion. It is a devastating update to a story we've been following since Friday.
A story breaks my heart. Orlando police arrested Ronald Davis, a man prosecutors say has spent only 8 of the last 38 years out of prison. They say he should stay in jail after this most recent arrest, as investigators now deal with a murder investigation. News 6 reporter Catherine Silver shows us how those who knew Lucy Pat Curl are remembering her.
Words of prayer on a bicycle built for two. It's a fitting farewell for Lucy Pat and the Curl family.
They used to ride a bike every evening. I'm gonna miss that.
Signs showing support are just the tributes you can see in the Catalina community. What you can feel is a neighborhood coping with great loss.
Right now I'm concerned about Pastor Curl. They were so in love with one another.
Since Friday, their support has been unwavering, and there are dozens who have shared similar messages online where the Curl family last posted they are beginning to figure out what life after Lucy Pat looks like.
But we're prepared that if the Lord chooses to heal her, taking her home, that'll be okay too.
A senior pastor at First Baptist Church Orlando, where her husband Bill worked, spoke of forgiveness at a service on Sunday.
And Bill said, well, I hope I get to meet him, because I want to look him in the eye and tell him, I forgive you.
That sentiment was echoed by Curl's family and neighbors.
That's the kind of people she was.
Who are leaning on their faith to get through.
I loved her so much. She was a tough lady. Beautiful lady.
The Curl family is planning a celebration service. It will be here at First Baptist Church on Sunday, February 16th. In Orlando, I'm Catherine Silver, getting results, News 6.
The mayor of Deltona is facing some backlash after heading to the presidential inauguration last month on the city's dime. Commissioners raised the issue at their meeting this week about Mayor Santiago Avila breaking the city's travel policy. A hearing and vote of no confidence is now scheduled for February 17th. The commissioners said the travel policy says out-of-state travel to conferences or seminars on the city's expense has to be approved by the commission, but they never voted on his trip. They say he spent several $1,000s. So we received a statement from the mayor defending himself, saying he is being falsely attacked. He was originally in D.C. for the U.S. Conference of Mayors from January 17th to the 19th. He was meeting with Senator Rick Scott during the inauguration period, and the hotel expenses covered the dates of the mayor's conference, not the inauguration. A plot of land in Ocoee may not look like much right now, but it is the site of a future sports complex.
But it's not going to be just for sports either. So coming up, how this complex will provide families the opportunity to experience sports and a vacation at the same time. You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results for all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Ocoee city leaders are considering bringing a $1 billion mixed-use sports complex to the area.
Developers say it's been a plan that's been in the works for several years, and they believe it'll bring millions of dollars to the city. News 6's Darrell Baker has more.
I know what you're thinking. There's not that much that stands out here off of Ocoee, Apopka Road right now. However, in the future, this could be the site of a sports complex that has 17 fields. Monterey Development, the company that wants to create the $1 billion complex, says that it would also feature a 150,000 square foot indoor facility, 1,100 hotel rooms, and several spaces for retail, restaurants, and more. CEO Jamie Douglas says that they decided to choose Ocoee because it was a central hub for the state, and the area also has so much to offer.
It gives us a unique opportunity to allow families to not have to choose between taking a vacation or attending a sporting event. They can have both at the same time. And that creates a lot of off the field activities for families to participate in, but it also helps with cost.
Douglas says they chose the area because it's a centralized location, which is easy to access from anywhere. Now, if this is approved, then Douglas says they want to start development right away and hopefully by this year. And they want to open the sports complex by 2027. It's already been through a first reading with the City Commission. That was this Tuesday. And they'll be having a final reading on February 18th. Here in Ocoee, Darrell Baker, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, let's take you outside right now. Look at this nice picture. This is over Deltona Beach. That's the Vomitron. Trying to see if there's anybody on it tonight. It's a beautiful night out there.
It's a beautiful night.
So you don't want to ruin it by being on that ride.
You don't. But we know a lot of people will be coming into town over the course of the next week or two with the Daytona 500 approaching. And Speed Weeks is already pretty sure underway. So right now, if you could just have tomorrow's forecast be the Daytona 500, everyone who's going to that race would be okay with that.
You know there's going to be a threat of rain because I feel like
there will be.
Leading up to the 500 and then beyond the 500, the weather's always nice, but Sunday,
During,
2 o'clock, it is raining.
Just on the track.
Just on the track. No, it's going to be warm, it looks like, over the next couple of weeks, and we're hoping that it shakes out. It's going to be around the 500 time that the pattern change might be coming. So we're going to hope we can just extend that a little bit further for our friends going to the track. Nonetheless, it is nice out there. If you like it warm, if you like it a little bit cooler, we're going to have to wait, I think, a long time for some of that cooler air, at least more refreshing air. I don't think we're going back to the frigid stuff, though, that we had dealt with in the middle of January. Patchy fog again tonight. I don't think it's widespread as widespread as the last couple of mornings, but certainly it's still going to be there. We'll show you who has the best shot for that. It's going to turn even warmer over the next couple of days. We'll be in record territory for some over the weekend. And still, for the next 7 days, rain chances are limited. They do go up a smidge with a weak cold front early next work week, but it looks like we're going to be dry to close out this one and start the weekend. Touch breezy at the port, but we can see things in Daytona Beach. We can see things at the port right now. The fog kind of loosening its grip for a short time anyway. That's a live look with our Launch Credit Union camera this evening. Temperatures right now into the mid-70s. The breeze at about 13 miles an hour. Visibility, again, doing okay, especially inland along the 75 corridor. I-4 looking good. There's just a little bit of it right around the port, right around Cape Canaveral, and then right through the Volusia-Flagler coastline. That's going to try to nudge inland and a little bit further south towards the Space Coast over the next couple of hours. So again, if you're out tonight, maybe grabbing a bite to eat, just watch out, especially along I-95 for some of that fog to try to push a little further inland over the course of the next couple of hours. So that's going to be something that we are watching closely going forward once we move into tonight into tomorrow. So there's 11 o'clock this evening. Visibility, again, dropping a little bit anyway, especially towards the Big Bend. And then there you go, right along the coast overnight. I do think the visibility has dropped just a touch more than what this future model is showing. Nonetheless, I think it has the right idea with it being a little more sporadic and a little more on the patchy side rather than this dense fog that we've been really in for the last couple of days. Tomorrow morning, look how warm we are. Average low temperatures this time of the year in the low 50s. We're talking mid-60s, 64 in Kissimmee. We're at 65 in Cocoa Beach, where you are back to the 50s in Palm Coast and Denellen. We're at 56 degrees again with some of that fog. Temperature-wise, currently we're at 77 in Mount Dora, 79 in Kissimmee, 78 degrees in the Villages. Now here's a look at tomorrow afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
We are back to the middle 80s, 84 degrees in Sanford tomorrow, 82 degrees in Palm Coast. Again, that's the fog icon. We're starting off with that. And then a day very much like today, just a touch or two warmer, with temperatures again getting back into the middle 80s. Ginger mentioned it before, much more like May. Average high temperatures don't get to 84 degrees until we get into the first week of May. 84 degrees, our forecast tomorrow. That's our average high temperature for May 6th. So we are about what? May is the 5th month. We're about 3 months ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
We are on February 5th. Again, that pattern is going to continue to be very, very warm. Jet stream is going to be way to our north. That's going to allow all of that tropical air to surge back up, and we'll continue to keep it like that over the next few days. 85 on Saturday, staying in the mid-80s over the weekend. 86 next Wednesday, guys.
Oh, calendar says winter, but the gods of spring are out.
That's right.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, we've all heard of cooking shows, but what about a show where someone is competing to be a master distiller?
That sounds great. So the crowning title is for the person who makes the best spirit, like rum, vodka, or whiskey. One Central Florida man took part in this challenge. Jeremy Craig is the co-founder of Copper Bottom Craft Distillery, which is just fun to say. It's in Holly Hill. He was on Discovery's show Moonshiner's Master Distiller. He had a watch party for his TV debut last night at the bar, and a lot of people came out. Even the mayor was there cheering him on.
The mayor was here, and it was very cool to be able to represent, our little town. We love this town. We love this area. And, I think it's great that we're able to do what we do here. I think it's got a bigger impact in a smaller place like this than it would in a Tampa, or Orlando, or Jacksonville.
All right, all the details from how he did on the show to when you can visit Copper Bottom and try drinks for free. Just head on over to clickorlando.com.
Let's take a look at what's trending right now on Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. Wallet Hub made a list of the best cities in the U.S. for Valentine's Day to help couples figure out where to go. It is a Friday this year, after all. You can make a little 3-day weekend out of it. Spoiler alert, nowhere on the list in the top 10 was in Florida. So
I can't believe that.
I know, we got a lot of great places. One Central Florida city is not too far off. So I don't know if you have any guesses. I'm trying to read.
No, I don't. I mean, I just looked up the top Valentine's Day restaurants because 6 of them were on that list. Remember we had that one? Yeah.
What did you find?
Well, Crest Chop House was on it.
Okay.
There's a place called the Black Pearl, which is in Dunedin. I've been to that one too.
Dunedin, I like
Dunedin. And Burns. Steakhouse in Tampa. Yeah. But we digress. We're talking about another list. Head to clickorlando.com to find out where Florida's cities rank in the top 100 cities for Valentine's Day. We told you where to go eat, though.
Yeah, we got that covered.
And here are some of the other stories trending right now over on clickorlando.com. A closing date has been announced for the Bugs Life 3D show at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I love this show. It's Tough to Be a Bug will close permanently on March 17th. This year to make way for a Zootopia themed show. If you want to see your creepy crawler one last time, you can still just make sure to hurry.
I love A Bug's Life. I love that movie so much. Well, lastly, if you're looking for a job, U.S. News and World Report released a list of the best companies to work for in the nation. And looking at Florida, 26 companies made that list. Among those, in the ever-popular supermarket chain, of course, Publix. And we have to mention the late Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville also topping the charts. So you can find out what other companies made the list by heading to clickorlando.com.
Get paid in sunshine. Don't forget that.
That's a great place. And no state income tax. That's what we can offer.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, Jonathan, meteorologist Jonathan Kagis, we want to make sure that people like you are recognized when the weather is nice, but especially when it's not. There are the men and women who keep us informed and help us plan our days.
They're critical. And today is the day to celebrate meteorologists on National Weather Person's Day. And this has been going on for a few centuries.
It's a long time,
I guess, because we got to date back to 1744.
Okay.
Of course,
Right.
like before the internet, before a lot of stuff. When John Jeffries started taking daily weather observations in Boston. So 1774 is when that happened.
Wow.
Jeffries was also the one to send up the first weather balloon to collect upper air weather data, which helped meteorologists collect atmospheric measurements to plug into computer models. The field of weather and the study of weather phenomena has an enormous historical footprint, as you can imagine. Digital meteorologist David Nazario shares more on how meteorologists got to where they are today, and you can check that out by going to clickorlando.com. And of course, make sure to thank your Pinpoint Weather team as well.
All the time.
They love ice cream.
Yeah.
We do.
We should celebrate
love
this
ice
day
cream.
in some sort of way.
Ice cream is
some
a
sort
great
of
way to do
delicious,
that.
creamy way. Yeah, maybe.
Absolutely. We have a lot of
maybe.
good local places here.
On my calendar at my desk, it doesn't say National Weather Person's
that's
Day,
messed up.
or I would have remembered and I would have come
It's okay.
bearing
I mean,
gifts.
I forget to. It's John Jeffries' birthday, so that is why it's celebrated.
It's
I'm not
fitting.
sure
I
if
like
you
it.
read
It has
John,
Yeah.
Jonathan. I mean, coincidence?
no.
I don't know.
I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
I don't
Well,
think
happy
so.
weather person.
Yeah, and those upper air data, it's critical. NOAA is responsible for that now. Keep that in mind if you hear any news stories coming out over the next couple of weeks. NOAA is critical.
Good point.
Gotcha.
Just wanted to
All
throw it
right.
out there.
Hey, thanks for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app.
Break news on clickorlando.com. See you back at 11.
He likes Kelly's ice cream.
Very good. The best.